Hey, what's up guys? It's me, Sakura. Today we're finally getting around. I feel like I have a pretty good confidence in this topic now. I'm gonna make a tier list. We're gonna finally hop in there. So, first off, I feel like the game probably doesn't have like a really low D tier. It probably is more so looking like this. I would say it probably goes something like this, yeah. Probably S, A plus, A, B. And yeah, so I'm gonna be making a tier list. We're gonna be putting the characters on. Uh, we're gonna place them all on first. You know, if for the thirsty people that really want to see what the tier list looks like, I got you. So we're gonna do the tier list first, and then I'll start explaining it. Alright, so we got the tier list done. We got it up, chilling, right? We got the top 5, A plus, A. Then we got B. So I'm gonna start from the bottom up. We're gonna start all the way down. It is ordered for the most part. There are a few characters that maybe are about the same, and I'll talk about that when I get there. But yeah, for the most part, ordered, and let's start talking about it. So at the very bottom, we got Potemkin. Just like not the best movement options. Solid damage, but like I feel like his game plan is kind of just really hard to execute. Actually getting to the range where you can hit the command grab and then also hitting the command grab. Not getting stopped along the way. We have other characters up there that just really are dumpstering him so bad, particularly like Happy Chaos, that just really can make him not play the game. And it's so rough as a pot player. I'm sure we all know what I'm talking about. Pot is kind of in the abyss, but the Abyss in this game is not really that low tier. I do feel like the worst character in this game is probably not worse than like a B tier. Pot is still winning games, and he has some situations where like, yeah, you lost, son, but like, I don't really think he's that good, obviously. I think he's struggling. Next up on the tier list, pretty much tied with Pot, even though he is above him, I would have to say it's Sin. Sin, as everybody says, a patch behind, didn't get a patch with the rest of the characters. Absolutely just really struggling, like, so bad right now. He has good pokes, but the frame data on a lot of them are not super great. You can, like, poke after his stuff on block a lot of times and hit him. It's pretty rough. His damage is pretty good, though, and consistent. I feel like with, like, a patch, will probably, like, bump up pretty nice, but just being a patch behind and then also nobody really playing him, he's kind of struggling. Alright, next up we have Ino, but as I'm looking at it, I kind of think she would go somewhere like here, like around Kai, like maybe slightly in front of Kai. I can't really tell, I'm not sure. But she's definitely above us. So the first thing I'd like to say about Ino for the most part is also a thing about all of A tier, in that these characters are still really strong. And if they get their like situation going and you're stuck in it, like it's kind of can feel helpless sometimes. So Ino obviously very strong, even though it looks like she's on the lower end of the tier list, which she is, but I do still feel like she's strong. But on top of that, I feel like her not having like a normal sprint kind of is hurting her. I also feel like most of her specials leave a lot of room to interact. So like if you kind of mash your life away, I feel like you kind of can stop from getting her game plan set up at all, honestly, which is a pretty big deal for her. On top of that, I feel like her reversal super is not great. It's okay, but like it leaves a lot to be desired with that kick happening first. I also feel like her damage is usually not incredible. She has situations where she does get really good damage, but usually I feel like it's not the best. Still a really powerful character though. Note setups and all that. I would have to leave her probably right where she is, above Kai and above us. Alright, now going back a bit to Faust, I feel like Faust is actually pretty strong, but his moves are so slow. I feel like they can be stopped so easily. The recovery is like so rough. His damage is usually on the lower side as well. I just feel like it's kind of rough to be a Faust player. I feel like he just struggles. He struggles, The slow moves especially, like if you're wrong and you go for a low and they jump, you're like, oh man. If you go for a high and they're low, you're like, oh man. Items are obviously really powerful right now. Faust in general, I feel like is pretty strong. As I keep saying, I feel like I'm repeating myself. All the characters in this game are so strong. Even the ones on the lower end. It's like, while Faust is really powerful in some regards, I feel like he's just not as strong as often. I feel like there's just so many situations on the screen where Faust is kind of down bad that, it kind of ends up being a little on the lower end. Next up is Kyle Kisuke. Pretty strong overall. The jack of all trades. He's not really accelerating anywhere, though. which is why I feel like he's on the lower end of all the characters. I feel like a thing about GG is usually your character will like really eat in some aspect, you know? You'll be so strong in a place where other characters aren't, and that's just not true about Kyle. He's pretty strong overall in every situation, but like just barely. He never has any like overwhelming strengths. It's kind of scary to run offense. He doesn't have any like really powerful tools to use there. Yeah, his damage can be really good, but it also can be pretty negligible depending on if you have shock state and the hit that you get. I just feel like it's kind of rough playing Kai and actually expecting like consistency. Next up is Axel, who got a lot of buffs this patch. You know, he was eating, he got a lot of new rounds and a lot of new damage and stuff. But I actually feel like I'm tripping on this one, guys. I feel like Axel should probably go like somewhere like here, right? So look, we're gonna pause on Axel. I'm gonna have to halt on the Axel. We'll get to Axel when we go up a tier. I feel like Axel, with the new buffs, he's so powerful in a lot of different situations. He would have to be a little bit higher. But let's talk about Anji. Anji. Cooking Chaos Anji, I'm calling him. You know, Anji is strong. I feel like he's honestly always been strong. I know he was downplayed an unbelievable amount. Not downplayed, because he was really bad, especially at the start of Strive, but I feel like he's been getting stronger and stronger, but nobody wants to try him or play him at all. So, you know, he kind of is just chilling for a long time, but now I feel like people are finally starting to see the light of day and realize, like, hey, wait a minute, this character is kind of strong, he's kind of cooking. He has access to the mix, you know. It is, I think, maybe not reactable, but you can option select some of the stuff. There's a lot of matchup knowledge stuff in there as well for Anji that I feel like a lot of people just don't really know because nobody bothered to actually learn the character because they would never see him. But I do feel like Anji's pretty powerful right now. He gets such good damage. His air control is really good. Powerful buttons in general. Long range. Pretty good stuff. I think Anji is okay. Next up is Soul. Soul, I feel like kind of could maybe wiggle on up to A+ tier, but I kept him down here because I am a Soul player and I am sad, so I will not be up playing Soul, okay? No, but, I mean, yeah, his damage is just unbelievable. He gets some really chunky stuff. It's scary to press against him. You think you might get bopped. Really powerful character. Neutral is a bit harder than I feel like most others because he has to be so close. But he has really good buttons to do that. 5k obviously is really good. It's so sad that 6S does not lead into big damage for free anymore. That was great. We lost that, but he still retains clean hit DP. His damage is great. I just feel like it's a little bit harder for him to get in, especially in certain matchups, like whenever he's playing against Happy Chaos, for example, or a character like Ram. I feel like it can just be really rough on him, which is why I kind of have him down here. You know, he's a little struggling. Moving on to A+ tier, at the bottom, we have our Axel, which I feel like is probably the highest I would put him. Axel is strong. He is so good. He has all that range. He has a lot of new routes for the hits that he does get. When he wasn't getting a ton of damage before, I feel like now his damage is pretty solid. Certain matchups, obviously, he struggles in more than others just because of his archetype. But I feel like when you combine just the power of his normals against most characters, and then also the new damage and all that, I feel like he's just a really strong character. Like, I can't see him under A+. Next up, we have Testament. Testament is, you know, they're the mids. They're the mids character. They have crazy ass 6p, great far slash, really good 2S as well. The Grave Reaper changes are nice, but I do feel like they haven't really changed too much from where they were before. They have great damage. Honestly, I feel like pretty good. State is amazing. I feel like their access to Stain just makes them so scary a lot of the time if they can actually get it started. The triple overhead, you know, there's a lot of stuff that makes Testament good. But I do feel like, you know, they kind of are a little bit weak to other people's 6Ps. And I feel like it's a little bit hard to, like, loot mix on Testament. It's kind of just really good normals a lot of the times. But I also don't really know. I feel like I don't see as much of Testament as I would want to. So, you know, because Idom is sick, but he's really the only Testament I see too much these days. So I feel like maybe a little wobbly on Testament. They could be a little higher or lower because it is semi-ordered, but I'm not sure. Testament is just sick nasty. That's all I know. Next up, we have Geo, the sleeper. I feel like Geo is so good, but I never see anybody play them. Like, I don't know if they're cursed or what, but Geo is so sick and just never played by anybody. Their dash step is so good. They have so much space control. They can punish you from light years away. They have a really good mix. Really good damage as well. I feel like they're just a really strong character. Kind of similar to like the Kai issue, where they're not like overwhelmingly crazy at anything, except for with punishing. That is something that I feel like they are really good at. But I don't know, Geo's just okay. I feel like maybe if we saw more Geo players, I would maybe think they were better. But since I don't see a lot of Geo, I feel like I might just think that they're not as good as maybe they are. But yeah, Geo, she's solid. Definitely A+. Definitely up there for a strike throw character for sure. Okay, so Melia and Chip, I kind of feel like are kind of interchangeable in the list. It could go either way. But let's talk about Melia first. So I feel like the normal's good. Great speed. I mean, the mix is crazy. Oh man, and all the changes they've gotten, I feel like Melia is just straight up like strong now. Like, you really can't just, like, you're not really saying Melia is weak these days. Like, I don't even know what else to say. Like, they're just so powerful. Capo is fucking despicable. I hate that move. We're getting up to the tiers of where the characters are just really, really fucking good, you know? Like, I feel like there's not much that's really bad about Amelia. Obviously, low health is rough. She doesn't get as much damage off of certain situations as maybe she could, and as maybe certain other characters do for similar mix, but Amelia's just very strong, very scary. Bad Moon, you know, she's the mix queen, I feel like, even still. Then we have Chip. I feel like Chip is kind of, you know, a little bit scarier than Amelia. Like, he's still fast, similar to her, low health, even lower health, actually, similar to her. But I feel like Chip is better in general as a character than Amelia. He has different plus frames, the wall run. His damage is really good, I feel like, a lot of times. Chip is also just really scary, playing around with the negative frames, making you want to press, and you press, you get exploded. I think Chip is so good, honestly. Chip also has a DP, which Melee doesn't have, which is always just really, really, really helpful. Obviously, really great on defense. I think Chip is pretty solid. Next up, above Chip, we have Zato, who I feel like Zato is just so strong. I feel like Zato is a character where some people either think he's, like, really, really broken, or kind of maybe middling. For me, Zato's offense, obviously, is sick, nasty, crazy once it gets started, but it's not very easy for him to get started. Zato is really slow. His dash is not very good. He doesn't have an air dash. He has fly, which is good for other situations, but no air dash, no wake up super, so he's definitely struggling on defense as well if you actually can get your stuff started on him. I feel like in the same ways he's so strong in areas, he's just equally weak in others, and he's also on top of that just difficult to play in general. Getting used to the Eddie meter, negative edge, all that stuff. I feel like Zato is not struggling, he's strong, and when he's making it work, he's making it work. But I feel like he's just not as good as certain people hype him up to be, you know? Next up, we have Gold Lewis. Now, personally, guys, honestly, Gold Lewis might be a little bit lower than A+. But me personally, I can't lie, I fucking hate Gold Lewis. I think that character is so ridiculous. You just do the coffin and you get the results. I think he is unbelievably strong. He's kind of a one-chance character, similar to Naga, where you get hit, you're kind of like fucked. You get absolutely blown to fucking smithereens. I feel like he has good screen control. He's not that slow, all things considered, and he has an air dash and shit. The Dren change obviously hurt him bad, but the fact that he's still up here this much, I feel like he's just kind of ridiculous. I don't know. I fucking hate Gold Lewis. I think he's a travesty. He gets so much damage, even when you block his shit correctly. I feel like he's just so strong. He's unbelievable. He's so powerful, I feel like. That was a bit more of a rant than anything, but yeah, I think Gold Lewis is strong. Honestly, I do. Next up, we have Jacko and Bridget. Kind of both of them, again, are characters that I feel might be kind of interchangeable, similar to Amelia and Chip. They both are really good from pretty much all angles of the screen. They both are pretty mix heavy. I think they both have lower health than average as well, I believe. And I feel like they both have a lot more room to grow. They're both really strong, really unique characters that are pretty technical. If I had to make the decision, I would say I would probably have to go with Bridget being better, just because Bridget has unreactable, uninteractable mix. She just keeps running her shit, and she gets to mix you multiple times on hit. Her normals are so fucking far. She has a DP as well, which Jacko doesn't have, although Jacko has an invincible super, which Bridget doesn't have. But Bridget also with the command grab, I feel like Bridget is really, really, really strong up here towards the top of A+, as well as Jacko, which I feel like is also a really strong character. Next up, we have Baiken, the samurai. She is foul. If it wasn't top 5, Baiken might be able to smuggle into top 6. Like, she is so good. Her damage is out of control. I don't know if you guys saw this, but they like shadow buffed parry, so it has like an extra frame of activeness, which isn't a lot, but parry was already good, so any buffs to parry is kind of crazy. Zansan is fucked up. There's always so much damage on the table for Baiken. She gets so much damage for strike, and then her throw also leads into really, really sick, nasty mix. 4-way mix. She's just really powerful. Unlimited Tatami mats definitely make it harder against certain people in matchups as well. I feel like Baiken is just so powerful. Gun super. So she's never really out of options. If she has meter, always something to look out for. She's just really strong. Alright, next up we have Nago, who I feel like kind of fell a bit. You know, the nerfs to Nago really did hit. 2S nerf definitely had him down bad. The nerf to his health when he has higher blood. Everybody kind of gets like a one-touch combo on Nago, which definitely isn't great for him. But at the end of the day, Nago is Nago. With the proper blood meter management, he's just going to do whatever he wants to do. If he bites you, he's going to do whatever he wants to do. If he hits you, you're going to die. Nago does insane amounts of damage. His round starter is unbelievable. His 5k is unbelievable. His 2S is still really good even with a nerf. It's not as good, but it's still powerful. If you don't kill him when he does pop, he's going to probably win the game. Like, Nago is just really fucking strong. Really powerful. Pretty much all the time. Not telling you anything new here. He hits you, you explode. It's really, really crazy stuff. Next up, probably a new character to be so high for me, and I do feel like she's probably slightly better than Nago, is May. May with these changes is really crazy. May was already an incredible character. You had the command grab, you had the sick, nasty damage, you had Totsugeki controlling neutral, but now Totsugeki having like variable drop off, it's like seriously mixed. It's kind of a ridiculous move now. The fact that Dolphin is so good now, as well as her normals being so big, she can jump around, she hits you, you explode. She has a wake up super. Her damage is just unbelievable. It's up there with Nago to where if you get hit in the corner, it's like a counter hit, you're like dead, you're done. She has 3k, 6k, good mix decently if she has meter. I feel like she's just so powerful right now. It's kind of crazy. On to the top 3, which they kind of maybe could be juggled a little bit. I do feel like Chaos is probably undisputed top 1, but for these next 2, you know, Ram, she's ramming. Ram got some nerfs. They made it harder for her to get damage in certain situations, harder to get knocked down in certain situations, but they also made it so she gets more damage in other situations. And also, she's still just Ram. This super disjointed normals, she's swinging at you from far away, you really can't do anything. You get sent to that corner, man, you better pray, it's over, you're guessing, you're getting hit for still crazy damage if it's a good touch and you're anywhere near the corner. She's still just ramming. Ram would have to go through something chaotic for her to really be, like, down bad. She's really a villain still. That little, her flip kick being plus, that shit is still a travesty. She still has that. You know, she's running her Ram shit. None of her real, I feel like game plan really changed with this change, for the most part. Except for Rekka's being worse. That is obviously nice that it doesn't lead to as much as it led to before, but even still with that, Ram is still ramming, guys. Ram is ramming. Next up, we have Leo Whitefang. This character is sick and twisted. Now, while I feel like for the bottom 4 of top 5, you might be able to argue any of them to be in any of the places, you know, those 4, you might be able to shuffle them around. So, you know, is he top 2? I think so, personally, but I could hear him being maybe top 4 as well, you know, depending on the day. But, you know, his neutral is just out of this world. He can hit 2D from, like, 3/4 of the screen. He has his run-up slash, DP leading into goddamn, you know, his win con. I just can't get over his neutral. His mix is foul, but it's, like, the ease he has to access his mix, you guys know? Like, it's not very hard for Leo to start running his game, and it's so depressing once it gets started. You're in there, like, he's fucking you up. He's a really strong character from pretty much anywhere on the screen. He has projectiles as well. I mean, and that DP leading into win condition, and he's gonna be, like, why not DP? And then he DPs, he has meter. You know, he's back down, he's running more shit. It can just get so rough. It really can. I think Leo is just such a powerful character. Damage as well. All the characters have damage, but again, Leo damage off the fucking charts. His OTG with that super, the spinny one. You know the one. That shit. Oh my god, that shit hurts so bad. But yeah, last one on the tier list. Top one, in my opinion, Happy Chaos. I feel like I don't need to explain to you guys why Happy Chaos is foul. He pretty much can just do whatever he wants to do whenever he wants to do it. If he has the resources, which are not the hardest for him to manage, it can be difficult. I don't think Happy Chaos is an easy character, but once you got it, like, you kind of got it, and you kind of, you do whatever you want. You throw your curse, you shoot, you whiff normals, you shoot. Like, it always is working out for him. His mix is unbelievable. He gets access to his mix the easiest, gunshot into gunshot, or steady aim into regular aim, and you pull up, and then you're mixing. You got roll, you got, his supers. Both his supers reload his ammo and his concentration. Concentration super is like plus. Happy Chaos is just a really like monstrous character. Like they nerfed 6K, so it can't go into 5K, but now it launches higher, so his combos have like easier routing. He's taking you from any end of the screen to the other end of the screen. Obviously Happy Chaos is so unbelievable. He's despicable. He's a monster. I don't need to tell you guys that, though. Like, obviously, Happy Chaos is probably the one character you could have placed on this tier list on your own. Honestly. But I hope you guys enjoyed. This is something a little newer for the channel. I've never made a tier list before. It was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I figured I would just hop in, give my spiel on the characters, why I feel like they are the way that they are. You guys will have to tell me if you agree, disagree, where you would put certain characters, maybe how you would change the tiers. Maybe you don't think Pot is garbage. Maybe I'm wrong. But if you guys feel that way, let me know in the comments. Definitely like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I post and or stream every single day. So we're always going to be making content. I really appreciate all the support that I've been getting from you all, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know how you're feeling in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one. Stay awesome, guys.
Can you hear me?